Hi, how's everybody today? I thought I did a video a couple of times in the past couple of weeks, and I look back on my reels and I didn't see it. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what I was doing, but I looked down there and they weren't there. So this one is while I was sleeping last night, I believe in my spirit the Lord was talking to me about the teens and coming out here encouraging the teens. There's so many different conversations that's going on now in the world. I'm not going to say the economy because there's just so much that's going on. And some things you got to just disengage from it because it could be so overwhelming. Because you see people just generating fear. And you don't want to be operating in fear. You want to operate in confidence. And, you come into this world, you're born, your parents, for those who have been raised by their parents, you're just trying to get it together with your children, raise them to be the best that you can in what you know. And, the beautiful thing about salvation is through Christ Jesus that we have the opportunity for a new life. And if you haven't been raised up in the area of a great family upbringing, then sometimes you might not have that support and you could be disillusioned. But I wanted to come out here and be of support to you teenagers, from young teens to older teens, that there's an opportunity in this life that God gives us every day that he wakes us up, that we can truly live a great life. And your life can turn around. And if you didn't have such a great life, it's not the end all, because there is a God, and he's constantly, every day, all through the day, turning people's lives around through salvation. And that's another word. And I'm going to give this to you right now. Romans 10:9, it's about salvation, asking Jesus to come into your heart. But I'm coming out here to be an encouragement to you today. As a young teen growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't with everybody who was ripping and running. I did my own kind of way of, coming out of, getting out here young at 8 in drum corps and, a lot of traveling. For those who don't know what drum corps is, it's kind of like a band, a marching band, like a high school kind of band, but it's more professional. You have different instruments, but it requires a lot of discipline, exercise, traveling. And, I was very young when I started traveling. So I had exposure to a lot of things that were good and a lot of things that were bad. So I learned to be independent. Very young, very, very young. Like I said, 8 years old. And I met other kids in my lifetime, as I grew up and I raised my children who were out here at 7 and 8 years old, and they could tell their own testimony. But at the same time, I want to be an encouragement that, life is going to be what you look at it that you want it to be. It could be good or bad. Sometimes we lean to other people to show us the way. And I want to encourage you, you don't have to look to people. You go within and you pray. And God will send people to help you. And those who aren't good help, God can also, Lord, help me to separate myself from them if they're not teaching you good things and they're not showing you good things. In the time we're living in right now, the summertime, and it's kind of discouraging for the teens because there's not a lot of jobs out here. There's not a lot of encouragement for making your life better. How do you get yourself together for those teens that are out here taking care of themselves or helping take care of their family? So if you're not taught, you got to guess. And, it's hard guessing because when you come up and it's the wrong number and things aren't panning out, what do? You turn to people who may not be in your corner. And sometimes your family's not in your corner. But I want to encourage you that you can make it. You can make it. And you just simply pray, just wherever you are, Lord, please send somebody to help me make it. Open a door that I can get a job. Open a door that I can start a business. Open the door, Lord God, that I want my life to be better. I want to do better. And little by little, those who are craft people, you can start making crafts and sell them. You know, you might say, well, sell them. How do I go about that? It's just as easy as when you have something that you think is of value. And I'm not talking about drugs. We're not going to do that. We're not going back to the 90s. I'm not saying it's over, but the 90s was a rough time. If you ask some people in the city I live in, I think it was number one on the drug list. And I'm not talking about New York City. But they were teaching, and they're still doing it. But those who are in that environment, you don't have to do that. They say, okay, I'm out here. What am I going to do to make money? You don't have to sell drugs. You don't have to sell your body. It's easy to say that, but at the same time, a simple prayer, Lord, please help me. Help me that I don't have to live my life in the streets like this. Help me that I don't have to slick and dip and die, and I don't have to steal and rob Peter to pay Paul. Wherever God gave me this word to give to those out there, the teens are the ones you are battling to do right. Don't be tricked and don't be hustled thinking you got to do wrong and bad. You could wash cars. You can wash people's clothes. You could iron. I'm not going to do that. Well, you know what? Then you really don't want any money. Because in order to earn money, you have to do a task providing a service or something in that aspect and stuff like that. So I want you to be encouraged that you can start a business. You could sew clothes. You can, the library has what they call a maker space. A lot of the libraries now just call or go down there for those who just get up and go to the library and find out what services they have, and they're free. They have a maker space at the library, and a lot of them. And they'll teach you. You can learn the machines. You could do 3D printing. You could sew. You could do start your business. The librarians are there. They're called business librarians. Ask for the business librarians. I'm on here because, like I said, the Lord laid it in my heart. And I know a teen growing up. My mom was working. I got as much information as I can. Yet, really having a mentor, having a support system of someone directing me in the right direction, I wouldn't have gotten to a lot of things I got into. Thank God that God spared my life. I got out of them. But, a lot of stuff I was into, I was too young to be into. 8 years old traveling, my mother wasn't, I'm not going to say really derelict, because of the groups my sister had been in before, but I was adamant, Mom, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. And she did. I came back. I went out of the country at 11 years old. I went to Canada. That's out of the country. You don't have to do all of that. And especially now, things are getting worse. They're not getting better. They're getting worse because now with this border control and this and that, you can't trust everyone, y'all kids. You can't trust a lot of people out here who say they have your best interests and they ain't got nothing but their own interests. So I'm encouraging you, if you have to go back to school, associate the Lord introduced me to about 4 years ago. She graduated last Wednesday. She called me Sunday morning and she was like, Fern, I graduated. 80 years old. She's 80. Every enemy out of the pit of hell came at her, discouragement, family members, family members, and she was determined, outside of her other family, by her, I think her mom and stuff, they encouraged her, but you got to be encouraged. You got to encourage yourself. In the scriptures it says, and David encouraged himself. I want you to Google that. David was a king in the Bible, and nobody really supported him. God supported him. God kept him. And he's a young Hebrew boy who was out raising his dad's sheep and things like that and taking care of his father's business. Yet he had to battle all the way for years. It had to be over years. I tell you, the more I read the scriptures, the more I'm learning that things don't just pop up overnight. People talk about God like things just pop up overnight. God can do it. I've seen him do it. But it also takes time. It takes time and getting in there and really looking at stuff. And I'm opening up because I'm going to get ready to get out of the car in a minute. And I'm messing up because I'm actually trying to tape, but somebody pulled up next to me just now, and I got to move my car over because I don't want to hit her car. I don't want to hit her car, and I don't want, we ain't doing in that. So I just wanted you to be encouraged that God will make a way. God will make a way. So let me just finish telling you about David the king. So David actually, through his kingship, and him eventually becoming a king years later, I gotta go back and check the time, that he was learning, he was getting skills. You know, whatever work you can find to do, that's a skill. You do it the best you can. And if you don't know how to do it, you ask somebody. If it's raking leaves, if it's cutting lawns. I'm telling you, my brother, he started a lawn business, a junk business, and him and his wife, he did well. He did very well. Very well. So especially you guys and stuff, get out there, ask people. If somebody say no, go back at it again. Say, I start my own. I don't care if it's washing trash cans. Sometimes the neighbors, you know, they can't do their own. You know, hey, I'll do your trash cans. Hey, I'll sweep down your sidewalk. You know, hey, Miss So-and-so, I'll run to the store. And you only touch what they tell you to do. And I tell this all the time. I've been doing it for years, and I'm not going to stop doing it. Don't touch somebody else's stuff that don't belong to you. I've had good experiences and bad experiences. But I want you to know, y'all teens, you can make it. I don't care if you have to work 1 or 2 jobs. As long as you ain't out here, if you're going to do it for your future. Don't just do it for the day. Do it so you can have a better future for yourself. And then when you get kids, you get married, they out here talking about you could live in the shack, and I did it. And that's another testimony of mine. I did it. I shacked 11 years. I lost. But at the same time, I learned. So I'm here to share what I've been through with you so that you don't have to go through it. People ain't really sharing the truth of what they've been through. And these kids, you kids is out here and you're going through thinking, how do I do? How do I move? How do I live? How do I maneuver? Who do I talk to? Who don't I talk to and stuff? Because I hung out with people, but now I go back and I realize and I looked at me hanging out wasted my time. Because I could have been learning so much more. I could have been learning. I wasn't learning. I was hanging out. I was learning how to get in and stuff. Thinking that somebody going to come and all of a sudden, you know, hey, you want to be my girlfriend or this or that. And that's a hustle in itself. So don't think it's all beautiful and stuff because you don't know what you get into, y'all teens, when you get into these relationships with people. You don't know them. So I'm going to be coming back ministering to teens more and more and more as the Holy Spirit directs me to. Because somebody need to tell the story. That hanging out, clubbing, all of that isn't glitz and all of it isn't glamour. So if God calling me down this path to share with you teens about my life and what I went through as a teenager, you can make it. Make good choices for your future. You can do it. Y'all young men, y'all can start your businesses now, young. You don't have to be working for somebody all your 70 years, 80 years, and they're paying you nothing. I'm not saying not to. I'm saying start there and move on, move forward. So be encouraged. I'm going to talk to you later, and you have a good rest of the day. My name is Fern, Miss Fern. We're not equal. I'm in my 60s, so we're not equal, and I'm not Fern to you. I'm Miss Fern. So in the spirit of respect, you got to give respect to get respect. I don't know. I ain't going to call you. You don't got to call me at all. I'm going to tell you. Because where God is taking me and where God is leading me, I've been back there before, and there ain't nothing back there. I learned young, but it's okay because there's better days ahead. The older woman used to tell me, there's better days ahead, and I'm seeing them. There's better days ahead. So be encouraged, and I will be talking with you later. Have a good day, good night, and like I said, come up with some things and stuff. Put it in the comment. Whatever I could answer for you, I will. So don't be discouraged. Be encouraged. And if you don't know what it means, please Google it. Please check it out so you'll know. It's not for nobody else. It's that you'll know. If you don't know a word, be polite. Ask people, excuse me, but what does that mean? And then I want you to go with that word and I want you to look it up, because a lot of times what people say it means isn't really in depth of what it actually means. You want the true, they say antiquated or something like that, but you want the true meaning of what it means so you'll know for yourself. Don't take people's words for things. Don't. Research it and find out. Be encouraged. This is Fern from FML Diversify. Y'all have a great evening.